Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more Age of Empires 3, the definitive edition for you today. My name is Harrison, and I am casting the round of 8 of the ESOC Goodhouse Cup, a very charitable event. We are raising money for Cedric Goodhouse, Hunk Papa Elder, who needs our help for medical support. He put a lot of input into the Age of Empires 3 definitive edition, so it'd be very nice if we as a community can put some stuff back, or give back to him as a way of showing our appreciation for the work he's done. This is the round of 8 between Samwise and Zanerre. We do see Samwise spawning in on Florida to the top of the map in the colour blue, and Zanerre will be spawning into the southwest of the map in the colour red, playing as Sweden. So the matchup is going to be French versus Sweden. Samwise, known for his fantastic French play throughout the years he's graced this game. Zanerre, I want to say more of a recent player, or maybe a player who's been around the scene but hiding his name. I have heard the name Empire Boss, but I would need to see some clarification before I continue with that line of thought. Samwise dropping down an early trading post in Florida, getting the first pass. And I like this position, getting the early first pass, earlier 3 CDB. May have inclinations for the back TP. Samwise working on 80 wood as well. He's already chopped the wood for the house, so it's not going to help his age up that little bit faster. However, so far it's quite nice. That will help him in transition. Let's look at see what Zanerre is up to. Zanerre has dropped down a Torp in base, so has torped up a silver mine, got a turkey being gathered by the Torp as well. And let's see, has Zanerre got himself hunting dogs just yet? He hasn't just yet. He'll be looking to get that in at some point. He does have the wood available for it, and the coin is being gathered up by the silver mine, so maybe in transition, early hunting dogs to Sweden would be quite nice. They don't often get their early market, but it is Florida. Both players start with an early market, and we can see how Aze's UI is working at the moment. So if I go into Samwise, we can see that his first shipment here is the 3 CDB. So our first glimpse into Aze's mod in action. But I don't believe Samwise has got his hunting dogs yet, though, and I would see that now. It would say 1 tech effecting and the hunting dogs. Treasure contention. Samwise going for 75 wood. Zanerre just a little bit too slow, but Samwise now picked himself up. That 80 wood treasure, and now 75. It basically got 160 wood in the bank before transition. Samwise will be very pleased with how his opening has gone so far. Age up, 13ville, so it looks like Samwise went for a 13 villager age up with the early trading post in the house. Didn't spend the time going for early hunting dogs, but did have enough sheep nearby to provide himself an extra food income if he needed to eat a few sheep just to get that 13ville age up queued straight away. 200 wood already in bank, but Samwise is out on the map. He's looking for treasures. He looks like he doesn't want that second TP at the moment. He's actually going to catch Zanerre working on this 90 coin. Not too sure Sweden really need this 90 coin early on, but Samwise is going for the treasure contention here. He's just pathing around, staying close to the treasure, maybe waiting for the one shot. He's in range of the shot, shot taken. Samwise goes down first and does pick up 90 coin. And to add insult to injury, that native scout is nearby as well, punching down Adolf Nordenskjold, and looks like Zanerre's explorer is going to get double teamed here by the French explorer and native scout. Unfortunately, though, looks like the native scout has broke the snare, and Zanerre is running for his life. Let's have a quick look to see the status of play. Let's look at Samwise's deck before we carry on. Double wood and coin cards in the second age with 700 food as well. Only Cav HP upgrade, so no wilderness warfare or Cav attack. Double ship shipments in case he wants to contest the sea. Triple crates in age 3. That might help to jump to age 4, but there's not many shipments in the 4th age here. Not the deck I was expecting to see here from Samwise, but Samwise, honestly, he knows best, so I will bow down to his knowledge. Samwise going for 100 coin treasure now, so let's recap. He's picked up that 75 wood, 80 wood, 90 coin, now 100 coin. This start from Sam is insane. 200 wood already in the bank. gathering the 400 wood in base. Let's see what Sam's plan is. He does have one CDB herding in front. He's already got his hunting dog and his placer mines. I think the momentum is with Sam, and Zanerre feels the pressure he's already. Let's look at Zanerre's deck. His first card was the Blueberry Shipment. He's gone for the Aussie Drongo build here, going blueberries, skipping 3 villagers entirely. I think the jury is out at the moment, which you'd prefer. Maybe versus some boomier matchups, blueberries is preferred, but versus French, Samwise could do the classic Samwise build and drop a forward racks and stable, especially on such a great treasure start that you had. But I think, what's Sam? No, Sam, don't delete all your sheep at once. This is murder. That is a lot of food being wasted due to the decomposing nature of these animals once they're essentially dead. But Sam's just going to make sure that he's going to minimize the time moving from one to another. But Zanerre will be scouting all these sheep dropping down. So I think Zanerre feels like Sam is going to go for some sort of power play here, whether it's in the second age or third age. You haven't scouted what shipment Sam's going for, but Sam's gone for 3 CDB, 4 CDB, 700 coin. Sam just wants to jump to the third age and just put that pressure on as soon as possible. And this is going to be a very, very fast fortress here for you in game number 1.
Correct. Prêt.
See,
oui. Votre ordre? Prêt.
Sam is even focusing down on getting a 35 food treasure. I haven't seen an idle moment with the Explorer so far this game. It's just been some great Explorer control. I suppose it does help if you look at his Fog of War. That native scout has scouted out a large portion of the map. He does know where the treasures are, and so he can make the best use of his Explorer. But he's already picked up about 6 or 7 treasures, so it's been good use so far. Barracks was dropped on the 400 wood, mainly as a safety measure, maybe wanting Zanerre to scout it and get Zanerre a little bit confused on Samwise's build order. But 5 musks coming out, stable being thrown behind, and if musketeers have been produced now, I'm thinking Sam may want to go for a Falconet Musketeer Cuirassier composition. I don't think you need any Dragoons versus Sweden. And, well, let's find out what Zanerre's doing. What age is he staying in? Is he staying in the second or third? He's making a couple of Carolians pushing out here. I think Zanerre is stuck in the second age, and if Zanerre sees that Sam is in the third age, I don't know what his plan's going to be or how he's going to react with it. Scouts to 5 musketeers, gets the first shot in, retreats out of a safe distance with the fastest speed. That's some good play already. However, musketeers with their longer range, 12 versus 10, take a second shot at the Carolians for no reply, and Zanerre is on the back foot running away just from 5 musketeers, and Sam's in the third age. Like, if Zanerre's under pressure now, he's going to be under an immense amount of pressure in the near future. Explorer coming in as well, trying to get that snare on. Carolians turning towards the town centre, but being intercepted by musketeers here. What's Zanerre's shipment going to be? He needs to send something. He sent blueberries, 700 wood, Engelberg Ironworks, but is he going to be forced to send 8 crossbow or 8 pikemen here? Like, that's not what you really want to do. He's halfway between staying age 2 and age in. This is an awkward position so far for Zanerre. 2 Carolians gone down for not much reply. 2 musketeers picked off here, but Samwise is... What's he doing right now? He's moving with more musketeers. Vet must be in research, training another batch of musketeers. He has sent 1k wood though, so he's not going to be fully aggressive, but I like this use of control so far. Picked off many Carolians, and Zanerre is a little contained, but he's got so many coin mines nearby to talk. But I think Zanerre's... it's hard to call. Zanerre probably has the better eco at the moment and will be coming back into it. But another villager going down into the hand of Samwise, and Sam's just keeping his finger on the contain option. And the game's going to move on. Age into the third age, and let's see how this game moves on. Second town centre being dropped from Samwise. So going for 1k wood into the second town centre. Town centre's only costing 500 wood this patch. 2 Falconets being sent behind this. Does have a stable and Musketeers. Trained the veteran Musketeers now going for another batch of 5. 1 Crassier in queue. His villagers, they do have their... Well, he has basically all the techs apart from Amalgamation. Steel Traps, Plates of Mind, Gang Saw, and the Greatcoats. Who can forget the Greatcoats? I'm certainly not one to forget the Greatcoats. And Samwise is now Zanerre pressured, taking on the Torps, and each Torp that Samwise takes down, it's an extra 46 experience points for his own Fortress Agenda. It curbs Zanerre's eco. I don't think Zanerre will be housed at this point, but it's certainly annoying to say that eco has been picked off outside the safety of your own walls. Just going to turn down the sound options just a little bit. Can't have the game too noisy, especially if we haven't had the first major fight. So 2 Falconets being sent from Zanerre to defend here. 2 Falcons already from Samwise. They have used their first volley on the wall, which is incredible information for Zanerre. Zanerre knows that Sam's got Falcons. Sam's just shot another volley onto the wall. He has to reload, but Zanerre is closing in with Falconets. 1 shot on the Falconet. Zanerre does pick up 1 Falconet. Sam is able to reply. There's a double down here. And the Musketeers are focusing down. The Musketeers have picked off Zanerre's second Falcon. Samwise is primary Falconet still alive with 81 HP. These veteran Carolians with 11 range. There's no real way they can get in to pick this Falconet off. And once again, Zanerre's on the back foot, having to send Flintlock here or Snaplock just to increase his ranged attack on his Carolians, so that he can actually challenge versus these veteran Musketeers. And Zanerre is already in trouble. It feels like he's in trouble. He's got the market down from Sweden, from Florida, but no upgrades on it just yet. No Greatcoats as well. I don't think Greatcoats is what he needs at the moment, but a couple of villas in the town centre could be quite nice so that he can focus down that Falconet. But Vet Carolian's in, Snaplock has been in. I think Zanerre's going to try and focus these, or pick off his muskets from range. Yeah, 15 range versus the Musketeers 12. But Samwise a step ahead, couple of skirms coming in. That Falconet's still alive. And maybe a Crassier flanking from behind just to get that snare off and pin him down in place momentarily. Although this Falconet is being quite intimidating in front of Zanerre's town centre, he's only picking off Engelberg Ironworks Torps, and with 1500 HP, it's going to take the Falconet, quick math, 8 shots to pick off a Torp, so it's not like Zanerre's any rush to pick off his Falconet. I think he's waiting for the shots to come off and then try and sneak in with the Carolians and pull back before the Falconets recharge, but the town centre has been focusing down the Falconet. Falconet's only got 25 HP remaining, and that would only take a couple Carolians just to shoot a volley onto the Falconet and pick that unit off. But veteran Musketeers, vet skirmishers in one control group here is going to be the units from Samwise to counter these Carolians. And Zanerre's still under pressure here, but he's going to take this engagement here, and I wonder if there's a point you'd actually go into your hand combat charge. In hand combat, you will beat down the Musketeers, and skirmishers in hand combat, they're not good at all. They're much worse in hand combat than range. But glad Zanerre didn't, because here comes a batch of 5 Crassiers, getting a bit bugged around the wall. But hand combat Carolians will just get torn to shreds from the Crassiers. But Zanerre's heavy infantry mass getting whittled away. He's training Carolians in batches of 10, which is very nice, but now with skirmishers and Musketeers on top of the barracks, they're going to be quite a few units being picked off already. 2 instantly getting picked off there. Another 2 being picked off. They do pick up a couple of Carolians. Zanerre is just moving backwards and more backwards. A 25 HP Falconet is shooting down a Torp. The villager here could be hero and punch down that Falconet. I don't think Zanerre has got the APM for that. He's got bigger problems in his base. Minutemen being called now a little bit, possibly a little bit late there. but maybe his eco's been under pressure. He's only got 9 villagers now hunting, so he wanted all those resources into the double carded now Caribbeans. Understandably so. But these units, they're great, but they still don't answer these skirmishes from Sam. Will we see a stable into Hackapillites come down? That would be a nice play. I don't think Sam would expect that. Oh, what's a big pickup here. Zanerre was trying to hunt in front of his base, realising that Sam was down to the south. He's having to run away. He's going to keep on running, but he's lost a couple of vills already, and with no greatcoats, another vill gets sniped off from just the 5 skirmishers. And I always talk about greatcoats being in 75 food, get it every game, but Zanerre has already lost like 6 or 7 villagers. He's down to 16 vills, and his cuirassiers coming in. I suppose cuirassiers being snaring the infantry and skirmishers behind. It won't keep all your villagers alive, but it might keep them alive long enough just to tank that little bit, so that these Carolines can do that extra bit of damage, and that value of investment of 75 food will just pay off in a different way, but will certainly pay off. Is this a vill pull from Zanerre? Is he trying to pull his villagers into combat? No, he's going to try and pull trick villagers away from the combat. But Sweden down to 13 villagers, and we have Samwise up to 41 CDB. And that's a huge amount of eco. Gone 2 Falconet, 8 Skirm, ranged infantry combat, 3 Cuirassiers is his card order. And now sends an Eco Theory. He knows he's so far ahead. He just really improve his economical position at this point. Let's see what Sam can see in the fog of war. He's sieging down some more torps, and he's actually been very diligent. He's taken down about 3 torps there. He's taken down all the torps on this mine, all the torps on this mine, so that's denying the coin income, the income from the blueberries as well. He's got great line of sight to the top side of the map. This Falconet on 25 HP has probably taken down 5 houses more than it really should have. So the hero Falconet is being pardoned of any further military combat. He's returning to Paris, a true hero and worthy of the Légion d'Honneur medal. Maybe he wants a trip to the beach. I don't know. I don't know where he's going, but he's certainly not going to the Swedish town centre at this moment. Looks like the recorded game has finished, and it looks like Samwise will be picking up that first game. It seemed like that game was petering out as the game went to a close there, but I was a bit surprised because there's no like end fight to realise, oh, that Zanerre had been actually defeated. But you can look at that final end game position and just realise that, yeah, it wasn't looking too good for Zanerre at that point. The torps went down, didn't have the eco, 46 CDB down to compared to 14 European villagers and only 70 torp. Yeah, Sweden was just pinned in his base and just couldn't get on the map. And maybe Sam has shown how you play a 1v1 versus Sweden, contain, continuously trade, and don't let Sweden get that critical mass of torps and double-carded upgraded Karelians. Right. I've only got my phone on me just to look at the chats, and I've only got like half a phone screen to look, because I got all the stream information at the top. I believe somebody wanted to get my attention, but I can't quite find where it was. But the specific issue was I did turn down the game sounds midway through, but I will check to see if that's all right as we move on. Ah, no. Whoops. Whoops. Right, scrap that. Right, let's have a quick look at the graphs to see what's going on in this game. Right, Samwise versus Zanerre. Looks like Samwise picked up game number 1 on Florida. Looking at the villager population, we can see how once Samwise got to that third age, he'd moved in with some military units and picking off Zanerre's villas, 19 down to 18. And once Zanerre was in the third age, he had to try and balance villager production and military production just to try and hang on from the onslaught of the French army at the moment. And it just couldn't get past 21 vills. The torps were going down all around him, and that eco discrepancy was absolutely huge behind this. Yeah, French way outgathering Sweden. The Swedish eco, around about 8 minutes, you can see, was better than the French. The rate of increase of resources was higher than the France's eco. However, that was just gradually reducing as the torps and villagers were picked off, and that military lead for Samwise was cemented. Noel donating $100. Real cast in UI hype. I know, I'm so excited by this. It's such a joy to go from what we had before, from the what the devs have made, to what AZAMS had put together. And you know, I was able to come back at a later point just to see that card order from Samwise, even sending team range infantry attack. That's plus 15% for both the musketeers and the skirmishers. What a good idea that was. What fair play to Samwise for that one, and just showing the experience of a French player there and knowing exactly what cards in competition to go for. Right, let's just go into game number 2 of a best of 5 between Samwise and Zanerre. Alright, we are back into this map. Our first map is going to be... Oh, we're on Pampas Sierra. So for a second, I thought we were on the map called Mexico. But welcome back. We're going into our first no TP map of the series. Samwise playing as the Indian civilization, spawning into the top of the map in the colour blue. Zanerre is chosen to pick the Swedes once again. He's going to be spawning into the south of the map in the colour red. And I think... So the rules for this tournament are you can play any civ, any times, however many you like. How many times you ever like in this tournament. So if, let's say Sam's won with the French, you can play French again. But Sam won the first game. He's decided to pick the Indians on Pampas Sierra, and Zanerre's staying with the Swedish, and I don't like Swedes into Indians here. The Indians in age 2. It's a livestock map. XP income from the llamas, that's very, very nice. They have sepoys, very strong musketeer style units, can counter the Karelians. Gurkhas can counter the Karelians in age 2 dramatically. Sowers and Zams will get destroyed by the Karelians, but I think a mid-map aggro play from Samwise into infantry spam is the order of the play, and even going British consulate would be... I don't really know how Sweden can deal with the consulate timing push that India is really renowned for. Or should I say known and revered for. So far it looks like 5 llamas to Zanerre's 2. There is one more llama Raby picked up, but it looks like Samwise is going to get to it. Zanerre is now transitioning onto an 80 wood treasure here. Crackshot in a pirate. Should go into hand combat versus the outlaw blowgunner here. He does. So 80 wood be going towards Swedish pockets in a moment. Let's look at Zanerre's income. He's already got 80 wood, so can afford a second torp on that 80 wood when he does come in. His first shipment is in. What's he going to send? Let's look at his deck. He's either blueberries or free vills. He's going blueberries, and I think that is a bad decision here from Zanerre. Blueberries, you do not have time to torp boom versus an aggressive Indian player. And I don't know if Samwise is going to go for a 10-10. No, he's going 12-20. So standard age up time here, but I think a lot of people are overestimating the blueberries boom in a 1v1. And we saw last game how Zanerre went for blueberries, but was always behind in tempo and just couldn't, once Samwise had that lead, just couldn't really match the French player in terms of military strength. I fear that Zanerre will be in a similar position this game, but I'm not a Swedish player. I mainly play Dutch. Not fully familiar with the new civs on Definitive Edition, so we'll see how this game progresses, and who knows, maybe we'll see the OP Swedes come into full force once again. I have certainly seen plenty of games where you think Sweden are out for the count, but with their massive Torp eco, they just come back and manage to pull games from the brink of despair and win them when they realistically should have no chance coming back in. Both explorers sitting across a 135 wood treasure here, guided by 3 outlaw pistoleros. But Samwise is going to move back to 90 coin by 2 wolves. That's a very easy treasure to pick up for the Indian monks, and that will be able to be that's going to allow Samwise to train 2 sepoys right off the bat. Mid-map Agra, perfect position, great line of sight across this middle choke, this corridor across the map, and a little bit of vision around about here. So if Zanerre wanted to raid Samwise, he would really have to go via the high road along these cliffs or cross these 2 shallows onto that far eastern side of the map and cross the shallow for on Samwise's side. But would have to essentially circumnavigate this large Agra fort in the middle of the map. Torp being thrown down by Zanerre on his secondary mine. I actually would really like to see this Torp being thrown down on a mine over here, maybe this mine as well. I'm just expecting pressure from India because that's what feels to me as the go-to play. Another play Sam could do, he could semi-FF and go into an early disciplined sepoy Yurumi play. Yurumi are also another unit which excels at destroying Karelians, so that's another strategy at the hands of Samwise. Zanerre throwing down another wall. I think Zanerre has been practicing this eco-heavy defensive playstyle. Let the opponent come to you, but yeah, you need to fully wall off if you want to protect yourself from the Indian sepoy push. Very, very strong musketeers, and we'll have to see. Let's look at Samwise's deck. Samwise does have triple crates. He did have good faith agreements, but no real way to send it in the first stage without the help of a trading post. 5 sepoys, 4 hours. No tiger claws or Rajputs, but does have the Dravidian martial arts card as well. Could be going sepoy or export first, but it's designed to open up with the 700 wood, so a slightly more economical, slower play here from Samwise. Yurumi in the third age making an appearance. Sepoys. No Gurkha. There's only 1 Gurkha card, but does have double Mahout as well as 2 siege elephants. Couple of these sepoys out already. I'm just going to pick off this explorer. 1 sepoy in hand combat to get that snare off and make sure that explorer, which does move faster than the sepoy, will never leave these sepoys' grasp. And yeah, that's going to be another dead explorer and an extra 45 experience points for Samwise, and that is just so crucial for the XP curve of India. They do get their shipments slower than other civilizations, not including Germany, so having another shipment in already, really helpful. Dropping down a consulate on the 700 wood, 300 export coming behind. I think this has got the signals of a delayed British consulate timing push. Seven sepoys from Samwise knocking down the wall of Zanerre. How much has he spent on this wall? 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14 wall segments. So 14 times by 5, all pressures on, about 70 wood. That's not including all of the time spent walking building across, actually building it. That wall has actually probably cost Zanerre around about maybe 150 wood, 160 wood. That might sound like I'm overdoing it, but you'd be surprised by the walking time and building time. And that's another Torp that Zanerre could have had. Sepoys on the top. Got to put pressure on these torps. Do find the torp villager as well, so that villager's not getting away. Sepoy's going to pick that off. That's a nice play. Leather cannons being sent as a defensive measure here from Zanerre, and Samwise is just going to back off at the moment. I don't think he wants to engage just yet. At the moment, like I said, he went for 700 wood first card, and that means Samwise is not all in Russian. He's going for a more of a timing push strategy, so there's no point engaging before you're ready to take that fight on yourself. And looks like that Samwise here going for the 700 wood exports. Sawars is his unit of choice here, and going for Sawars, I'm thinking maybe Ottoman Consulate, Ottoman Hussars. The Ottoman Consulate is in. Can't see what he's going to be, which unit he's sending just yet. I think he may have gone for the Ottoman villagers. Yep, he's sent the 4 Ottoman villagers. He's got a lot of market techs already as well. Looks like first tier upgrades, professional hunters as well. So Samwise is going for, again, a balance between eco and aggression. Sepoys coming in, engaging. The elephant's tanking so much damage. Sat on top of the leather cannon, snaring the entire army. There's just enough Sepoys here to right-click a leather cannon. They're only light artillery, remember. They're not heavy artillery like falconets or great bombards. Sepoys just right-clicking that, and Sawars once again snaring it. They don't have a multiplier versus the Karelians. Karelians are heavy infantry, but they are snaring in range of the heavy infantry of India. Sepoys very strong. So 25 range attack here from the Sepoy, and another batch of Karelians from Zanerre being picked off. Second barracks being thrown down at the moment. How many torps does Zanerre have? Zanerre in total has 12 torps. 12 torp eco with blueberries. He's nearly got the eco to age up. He's now sent in Engelberg Ironworks torps at the moment. And when you're under this pressure, is an eco card like this really what you need at the moment? Granted, you'll get some more eco, but you're losing your torps because you have no military mass to defend them. Sawars are currently sieging down one of the torps. Sawars are pretty pathetic siegers. 15 siege attack. I think he's trying to see if there's any villagers running across the side of the map, just like we see here from Zanerre, pushing one villager at the right side. Now this is how you torp a map. Send your villager right into the far corner, where Samwise does not expect to find it. Get one torp down, and that's very nicely played there. But what Samwise is doing instead, he's not really going for the push at the moment. He's actually aging with the Tower of Victory, and we don't often see players age with the Tower of Victory at the moment. It's one of my favourite wonders from India. Provides 800 wood on the age up, as well as inspiration. So for about 10 seconds, I believe. It's either 15 seconds or 10 seconds. Yeah, you just get a 15% buff in HP, speed, and attack. Maybe it's just a 10% for 15 seconds, but it's a significant buff to your army, and it can just turn the tide of a fight in a click of a finger. A very strong ability for the Indians to use, and especially when you have units like Mahouts and Urumi, who their main strength is to close in and engage with the enemy. That extra HP and speed makes them go from very strong units to very scary units very, very quickly. And from Zanerre's point of view, yeah, Karelians are strong, but Mahouts have so much HP. It would take a lot of shots to bring down Mahout from range, and that they don't have any multipliers versus cavalry in hand combat. Urumi, though, they don't take any bonus damage from the Karelians. They have range resist, and they just absolutely spank heavy infantry in hand combat. It's just their speciality. And Sam knows this. He knows he doesn't need to push in just yet into Minutemen, Town Centre, villager fights. He's just clearing away, bringing down the walls for the upgraded Sepoys and maybe a Urumi shipment. Let's have a look what he's going to do first off in the Third Age. So we've got 500 foods. The first card is going to be sent very shortly, I feel. What's he going to send? He's got enough resources for Disciplined Sepoys. There you go, Disciplined Sepoys just been researched. How much is Yurumi? Yurumi's 500, but he's going for the siege elephants, and the siege elephants are only 350 food. So that's not the shipment I was expecting to see from Samwise, if I'm being honest with you. However, extra siege is always very appreciated versus Swedish players to take down torps, walls, town centre from range and distance. And I think Samwise is going to be playing very smart and very safe as the game progresses. This villager, yes, go, scram, go away, you elephants. This villager just earning his day's pay for the Swedish Empire here, scaring away the Indian explorers, but Samwise is just dropping down a town centre nearby Zanerre's expanding eco on the right side, and it looks like they'll be fighting for control of the coin mine. Siege elephants just come in now, they're leading the charge, and he's actually gone straight into the Carolines. Can he get a shot off into the falconets? That's exactly what siege elephants are great at doing. One shot comes off, one falconet already down. And yeah, siege elephants are great anti-falconet units. They are essentially designed as a mixture of culverins, falconets versus buildings. They're not great versus infantry, but that shipment, that's already paid off from Samwise. Samwise knew what Zanerre's plan was. He was one step ahead here, and what a great play that was. He doesn't actually need the siege elephants now. The main threat from the Swedish army, the falconets, has already been dealt with. We see the British East India Company coming in. That is combat card for the sepoys. We have the British consulate buffing them as well. And with the disciplined Gurkha tech as well, with the disciplined sepoy, 32 range attack. The Karelians only have 22 attack, 180 HP, sepoys 246. The sepoys are just outclassing the Swedish use at the moment. The first home torp has been... Home mine's been extinguished. These torps aren't providing any more income. He's only got 2 torps on this mine, 2 torps on this mine. Swedish eco is under pressure once again. And yes, this kind of does confirm my suspicion that the Swedish was not the best pick here into Samwise's Indians, but maybe Zanerre's Premier Civ is Swedes and he's got faith in them. Town centre has been destroyed. Samwise could pick the villagers or back off. He's just going to pick off villagers from range and maybe not over-engage. Snap block once again in from Caroline, in for Zanerre instead of a unit shipment of 9 Karelians. I don't really know what Zanerre else could have done at that point. He does have the Jaegers for 900 coin, and with the Torp Eco, I think that might have been an option Zanerre could have considered. Once he saw the mass sepoys at that point. Jaegers also countering the siege elephants because the elephants are classed as ranged cavalry. So things to think about if Zanerre was to play this matchup again. Yeah, military count. Indian units are stronger than the Swede units anyway, especially in musketeer combat, and that's a theme we've noticed in Swedish games and game balance so far, is that the Swedes do very well versus civilizations with no access to musketeers, but with a civilization with access to musketeers and upgrades or stronger musketeers like the Sepoy, Ashigaru, Janissary, Swedes do tend to struggle versus those units and unit compositions featuring those heavy infantry. And Sam had that military presence as well, picked off a couple of units, was taking down torps, once again establishing a military dominance, age up to the 3rd age, and just closed out the game with better tech units and a larger mass as well. At the same time, while maintaining an economic lead across his opponent for the entire game. And you can see Zanerre's eco was very good in the early part of the 2nd age, but once that presence came in, it was just getting weaker and weaker, whereas Samwise's eco was just only going from strength to strength. 2nd town centre dropped, and maybe this is the evidence of the skill difference between the 2 players. It's okay though, this is only a 8-player charity tournament in aid of the Cedric Goodhouse Cup, or Cedric Goodhouse Foundation, raising money for one of the Hunkpapa elders who who gave a lot of input into his culture for the Lakota civilization in this game, and we're trying to raise money to see if we can give back to Cedric as well. Cool. Let's move on to the next game. Samwise currently leading Zanerre 2-0. Right, we are back into the third game between Samwise and Zanerre. We are on Kamchatka, the classic ESOC map. It's survived the ages, and it's always good to see this map come back out in tournaments. It's just so nice to see that this map and other ESOC maps was included in the base patch of Age of Empires 3, the Definitive Edition. I've played many games with my friends on this map, and it's always a good map. We see in Kamchatka featuring in 1v1 spawn, a couple goats in the middle, as well as some decent treasures. And Samwise, once again, showing his expertise in game knowledge, charging to the middle of the map, picking up the goats with his Spanish Explorer and War Dog, waiting to take on his treasures. He's scouted 80 coin, he's scouted 80 wood. Let me just check that by turning on the Fog of War. He's also scouted 85 wood. Oh my god, Christmas has already happened, but maybe for Samwise, if he played this tournament series before Christmas, his Christmas has certainly come early. 85 wood and 90 wood in the same place. Easy pickings for the War Dog and the Freitag, the pet macaque. They're going off in different directions to scout. Not sure how I feel about that, but I suppose Samwise is dropping a training post at this point. And so Sam does have about a good 20 seconds of exploring and scouting before he will take on that 80 wood treasure just north of his position. Oh, he sees this. Look at this. Zanerre is nearby with his explorer just out of range. Okay, Zanerre now scouting the trading post from Spain, but unfortunately Zanerre is British. He doesn't have a secondary scouting unit to help him combat, and if Zanerre stays around too long, he may be in a bit of a shock when a... where are they? Well, there's Zanerre's macaque, but here comes the Spanish macaque and War Dog closing on the British Explorer. But maybe he's just deciding to get out of the way, doesn't want to go for it. Oh, pardon me, my boys. My bad, I had the overlay up. I was doing that just to try and hide some important information in between the games, but glad you guys have managed to get my attention before we go too long in the game. That is what we like to call doing an interjection in the casting community.
¿Cuál es su comando? Preparado.
So yes, just again. Oh god, I always have everything set up and get a nice plan ready to go, but I just managed to forget that one thing. All sparring out from casting from recorded games and extra admin to do in between each game. But we've seen Samwise charge to the middle of the map, pick up a couple of goats, pick up an 85 wood treasure down to this position. There was an 80 wood treasure here, scouted the coin as well. And then when Samwise was picking off, building the trading post, scouted that Zanerre was nearby, taking this 80 coin treasure, and has played around Zanerre's positioning of the Explorer to pick up that second wood treasure. Sam leading Zanerre in the treasures quite comfortably and having a very strong Age 1 so far. Right, let's have a quick look at the Spanish player's deck, because we do see a varying amount of strategies from Spain, and looking at Spain's deck here, we see double Rodolero, double Lancer card in the third age with Rodolero combat, Caballeros from Spain as well, no cavalry combat as well. I'd kind of prefer the Cav combat versus the Caballeros. Lancers, they do have 350 HP, 30 range resist, so the extra HP buff is very, very strong for that unit. Spanish gold, no fort, and no fort in third age, and no crossbow pike in the fourth. Suggests that Samwise wants to go to the third age and play third age, as if like playing a standard Spanish game and not going for the Spanish bow pike definitive edition meta that has emerged from the Spanish civilization. Back at home, we see Samwise. He has sent 3 vills, yep, he has sent 3 vills. Maybe this game itself wasn't played on Aze's UI mod. I'll have to check into that. Maybe it was played at a different time. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's just loading up. Yeah, so 3 vills coming in at the moment. And Zanerre behind. He's got 18 vills. 1 vill in queue, that's 1 vill being queued up on the age up. First shipment here, 700 wood in the second age. Yes. Outpost age up, 200 coin as well being dropped from the age up. I think Zanerre's wanting to put this outpost in the middle of the map and try and go for control, but look at this dog army here from Samwise, train a couple of these war dogs to pick off that explorer. Not really sure it's actually overly worth it. It would be nice to pick off in the first stage, but I suppose extra 45 XP. And units essentially paying for themselves now already. He can't argue versus that, but Zanerre will get the barracks down, outpost down as well. And meanwhile, Samwise is quite comfortable dropping an in-base tower and going to go for the Spanish FF behind this. Let's look at Zanerre's deck, see what Zanerre's game plan may revolve around. Obviously, we do notice that he's not playing Sweden in this game, but what is this? Improved buildings in Age 1? Why would you have that? It's quite a funny shipment to have. 5 vil, 700 wood, 600 wood standard cards here from the British player. Does have the double unit card, only cav HP, no cav attack, no advanced arsenal, possible other options, but yeah, pretty standard. No 1k wood in the third age, but I suppose with a high eco civ you don't need the woods. And double refrigeration royal mint, not the biggest fan of that decision. But what else would you have in the third age? Maybe versus Spain, 8 musks, question mark. No yeoman as well, so options there in the third age for Zanerre to consider versus an aggressive civ like Spain. Doesn't have a fort in his deck as well. Just want to check that. Don't often see British players having forts in their deck, but versus a civ who may want to be put under pressure and British only surviving with map control, that might be an interesting shipment for British players to consider at some point. But I suppose with the British only having slow age ups to the Fortress Age, maybe a bit too risky to have a fort in deck. Zanerre, double racks being dropped in the middle of the map, taking down middle trading post. Spamming from 2 racks is musketeers, but let's look into Samwise's base. He's already on the way up. He's aging up with the Adventurer, which is the 9 crossbowman. Or is it the pikeman? Oh, pardon me, I will have to find it out when it pops. I want to say it's the crossbowman. Maybe it's the sergeant at arms who provide the pikeman, and then the scout providing the hussars. So looking to see 9 bows on the age up here from Spain. 5 muskets being trained. Musketeers providing good cover versus cavalry units as well as blocking infantry units. So has very good synergy with falconets. Musketeers coming in under outpost, town centre. Musketeers, war dogs. This is going to be a good defence here from Samwise. And actually, when those crossbows do pop, they will be in range of musketeers and instantly getting value straight away, which is what we really like to see in Age of Empires. Making decisions which give you instant bonuses and instant reward for shipping that or choosing to invest into that. So another batch of 5 musketeers. Dogs will get majorly upgraded. They'll get the Fortress Age stats going from 18 hand attack to, I believe, 22 and a lot of extra HP. And this is not a good position for Zanerre to be. He doesn't know this. I don't think he knows this because he's still here. Age up's coming in behind this. Adventure age up, 9 bows right on top of the musketeers. Here come the dogs. Extra, wow, extra 50 HP on the age up, 22 hand attack. Samwise is going to press that right click button and watch the British army fall apart here. But Zanerre is just getting out here just in time. But unfortunately, it's not looking great at the moment. Losing quite a lot of musketeers to Samwise's Spanish play. And 5 lancers is on the way from Samwise. Going to give Sam that snaring potential. And Lancers, unlike other units like the Sawar, they do have bonuses versus Musketeers. So Lancers are a soft counter to Musketeers as well as just infantry mass as well. How's Zanerre going to react to this? More Musketeers.
Yes.
His card order so far has been the 700 wood, 5 Vil, 600 wood. Will he go for Musketeer attack as his next card? I think that's what he kind of needs to do at the moment. And yes, Musketeer attack is on the way. Crossbowman getting a little bit too greedy there from Sam, but getting pulled back into the Musketeer army. Oh, that's nice. That is nice to see. Just caring about every last unit he has. He realised he lost 2. Bit of a mistake, but recovered well from that position. Raid from the Spanish Lancers, not the best raiders in the game, 350 HP, so very tanky but low damage, only 20 hand attack versus villagers. Remember, villagers with their great coats and their range resist, surely they survive about 14 hits from a Lancer. That is not a massive return on raiding. 5 Lancers are out of position, in come the Musketeers trying to pick off the Falconets from the spawn, but the Falconets have linked up the Musketeers very, very well at the moment. Zanerre does have his units in staggered formation to reduce the damage from the Falconets' splash damage, or should I say the area effect of them. However, I don't feel that Zanerre has picked off enough to justify that push in at the moment. Maybe try and flank from behind. There are some villagers in the middle of the map for some reason. Lancers picking those off, but the Lancers will come from the top to sandwich Zanerre in a Lancer sandwich, it seems. Lancers from the south, Lancers from the north. Falconets, they won't be involved in this fight because they need to pack up and move. But if those Lancers come back in from Samwise, this could be very dangerous from Zanerre. We do have more Musketeers. Veteran Musketeers as well from Spain. I don't often see veteran Musketeers. But once those Musketeers are pinned down, Falconets unpacking, picking up about 4 kills there. That's a great volley there from the Falconets. And now the Lancers on top of these only attack buffed Musketeers. They don't have any extra HP. That's good from Samwise. Zanerre hasn't lost everything though. He has managed to kite out away from the range of the Falconets. He's picked off quite a few of the Lancers. It's not gone horrendous at the moment. But you need to be careful how he plays this now. He's going back in for seconds from the Falconet. That's not what he really wants to do. I think he just needs to back off and even try and get some cav and play around, or get a couple of longbows and deal with the Falconets from range. But these units haven't lost a single bit of HP. I don't know how Zanerre's going to deal with it, and the only way he can deal with it is hitting the resign GG button. So Samwise picking up a comprehensive, well-played, safe 3-0 victory over Zanerre. But yeah, you would expect that from one of the greatest players to grace this game, would you? Let's have a look at that military graph to see how, at the end, how many military units were lost from British in the Spanish players' base. Pushed in about 19-20 units, lost 1 to a couple Musketeers, but that's when the crossbows popped from the age up, and Zanerre went from about 22 Musketeers down to 18 without loss from Samwise. So what a great trade there. Extra 5 units being picked off for free. Train another batch, but this is when the shipments come thick and fast. 5 Lancers and a Musketeer batch. Falconets came in behind, I believe. And then at this point, the veteran Musketeers were researched as well. So you got Fortress upgraded units, very, very strong in terms of technology and stats, just outnumbering and out-teching the British army, and the British Musketeers from Zanerre just fell apart very quickly behind this. All resources gathered. Yeah, Zanerre was ahead, so had options to come back in with out-spamming Spain and out-massing units from that point of view. However, you can just see that the Lancers were doing pretty decently versus Musketeers. Falconets, no reply. And veteran Musketeers and Dogs, just enough anti-cavalry presence there to dissuade Zanerre from ever dropping a stable. So, yeah, very safely played Spain FF there from Samwise, just executing to perfection. And that age 1 as well from Sam was very, very strong. Let's look at the number of treasures picked up. That's going to tell a nice story. Samwise picking 3 big treasures up early in the first stage, as well as that trading post. I think Zanerre is only picking up these lower tier 1 treasures. Yeah, double wood shipment, double wood treasure here from Sam. Very strong, very strong. And that just kicked him. That just propelled him into a greater position in the second stage, third stage, and then just closing the game off afterwards. So yeah, that's the first series of this Goodhouse